ain't got to eat. You've been down there signing and taking pictures and doing
Yeah,
all the
man, I'm
things all
getting me
day.
some good lunchy.
Yeah. So just to start, first of all, condolences.
Appreciate it.
I was in the building when
Oh
when
wow,
the news came. I'm not sure where you were. Were you
I was
here?
here.
Were you inside?
I was here, but I heard earlier than you guys did.
I'm sure
So
you
I
did.
was here. I heard about 2 o'clock, and I, of course, ran out there.
Mm.
And yeah, but by the time I got to the airport and settled in and saw on the TV, I saw the moment of silence, and that because I put a little message to the team, so the team put out official press release.
Sure. What's the month been like since then for you?
Well, yeah, completely different for me in that I've been having to channel my inner Willie and kind of stand for the fans,
Mm.
during this transition because my dad brought so much love and so much joy to so many people. I just feel a responsibility to his masses in terms of keeping it positive and just checking that they feel his presence just as much as I do, which is
Yeah.
as much as we ever did. It's really doesn't feel like he's left so much as just taking another view.
Yeah. I still can't, just as a baseball fan, right? Like he's your dad. But like being in that stadium that night and the news starts to come out and we all know he was supposed to be here and he's 93 years old. It's hard for anybody 93 years old to fly from Birmingham to Atlanta, let alone San Francisco, the Bay Area out here. But the fact that the news came out while that week had started, like what I still can't, obviously, because I'm not articulating at all, but that feeling to me of being in that place when that news came out is still indescribable to me. What, how do you
See, to
kind of
me,
look at it?
another amazing Willie Mays play, like just part of his great plan. And I kind of should have realized what was going to happen in a weird way. In that we were talking a couple days before. I was like, Dad, you know what? Y'all just stay here. We're going to go watch it on TV. And he was like, No, you that wouldn't be right. You need to do what you were doing. And he don't send me places. I don't send. He does his own business.
Yeah.
So that was, I mean, I should have noticed that. I went, no, I'll just stay here too. But he played me too. I think in that regard, he just my dad doesn't do anything halfway. He has to stop and talk to every kid. That's what I'm telling you. You say
Yeah.
what I've been doing this month is
Yeah.
trying to like emulate him, and it's not. I don't know how he did it. He had the ability to create time. Like he
Oh
could
my
stop
gosh.
for need to be somewhere in 20 minutes, stop for 20, and we'd still be on time. So I obviously don't have that
Wow.
capability that he did, but um, just in taking the time to listen to really feel what people are talking about and make that connection is it's a great and amazing feeling. I can understand why he lived his life that way, but even more in awe
Mm.
that he was able to do that. So yeah, I think Birmingham was a decision. I think I think he did the math. Quality versus quantity. This was a great responsibility to him. I know he took a lot of pride in it.
Yeah.
And I believe he really wanted to show up in the ultimate way and figured, like I tell the people, he figured out a way to get here.
Wow. Before, this was announced, just over a year ago that, hey, this game's going to happen. It's going to happen at Rickwood Field. In that year that it was well known, what were his kind of thoughts on the fact that MLB was coming back here and that the Giants were going to play out here?
Yeah, I mean, Dad's always been a part of next gen, and not just all of us, which we know like how he is with kids in next gen, but also next gen within the MLB family with the guys, with the players. Always looking out for the next generation. So I think that not so much about how he felt about it, but what his responsibility was in that equation. So
Yeah.
he had a lot to do with being a component to it happening. Obviously, his interests helped make the decision. The hard work that Friends of Rickwood did with MLB, and then once again, it's the city of Birmingham for them to. So it took, those three powers to kind of step up and make it all happen. So yeah, I think he kind of saw it as his project.
Yeah. How big of a deal then? Not just talking about it as, hey, an MLB game came to Rickwood Field, but what it was a tribute to the Negro Leagues. Just how big of a deal was that? And in the time that the game has been played, it's been a month. Have you seen some positives from that for, kids who maybe hadn't thought about baseball that are now looking like, especially in the Birmingham, an urban type area that are like, oh man, I could do that. That park's in my neighborhood, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, commonality being to identify, with people that are successful, that look like you, that talk like you. It's important for every culture.
Yeah.
So when when kids can identify with historically someone that rose up out of a struggle to achieve on the level that he achieved on, it's definitely inspiring. We do worry. There is concern that it fades and it doesn't last, and that's when all these good people that do all this good work come in. We try to take my dad's energy and make that translate into real work where kids can really benefit from it. So yeah, I really feel that for Rickwood, for him, was a significant project, and not just for the event, but for the ratification of these guys and the backstory and all this. The really important stuff, man, is these guys are going to get insurance now. They're going to get benefits.
Yeah,
they're going to
some of that practical stuff.
This is real life stuff. That makes a difference. So it's not just all about tributes and celebrations. Right. That's what we're trying to communicate to MLB and everyone, that now this Rickwood can is open. A lot of us consider this a Pandora's box. This needs to continue. This needs to keep going. There's more work to do. There's still 47. There's 46. There's 45. We need to keep digging, and get these numbers out, because these guys were doing it. And for me, at being in Birmingham, which I really love, I have come across some kids in this town that kind of hang in their head. They see their history as kind of harsh and troubled. Sure. But I'm trying to remind them that there was a time where back in the struggle, there was some good times too, and were being had, and it's a proud history that Birmingham has. If you look through it, because the rise up isn't just something that happened over time. Birmingham was rising up within itself the whole time. There was always communities that were doing good, and the joke is, when you go in here and you look at the daily sheets from the stadium, guess what? The Birmingham Black Barons were the toast of Birmingham. They were. Those games were selling out, and it was people from both sides of the color. That's it in there. So that's what I want to do, and what we're really feeling now is that Birmingham's got an amazing, proud history, and we just want to, lay that foundation and go ahead and move forward. Yeah,
I don't know how often you get this kind of question, but I wanted to ask it. Everybody knows, Willie Mays, say hey kid, the catch in the World Series, the 660 home runs. Everybody knows all those things. You obviously would have an incredibly unique perspective. I don't want to ask you about Willie the player. What was Willie the dad like?
Yeah, what you'd expect from here. That's another thing about down here, that I really feel the dirt, the constitution of his character, like where it comes from. Like, my father's a no BS guy. Yeah. I certainly wasn't raised in a timeout environment. And parenting was in full play, but I understand what you mean. Never met a bad attitude in my life. 10 laps won't cure. We did a lot of running,
there you go.
But I of course I give my dad props for raising me because he's awesome dad, but dads in general, that generation, like I said,
Mm.
I feel privileged in that I didn't have so many choices in front of me. I feel
Yeah.
it's unfair. Like these kids today have to think about, to me, for us, it was eat or don't.
Right.
It
Right.
was be back at 9:30. What
Hmm.
happened in between them wasn't structured. We had to figure it out.
Right.
Um, and there were consequences, and I think the consequences helped because you didn't have to go back over the same territory twice. You did something, it was a mistake, or it was offensive to someone that was in
Yeah.
an authoritative position over you.
Yeah.
You got a consequence, and that was it. Even in school, when we I went to Catholic school
Hmm.
and military school,
Wow.
and when you had beef with a kid, the Catholic monks took you down in the basement. They put the big, bozo 12-ounce gloves on you, and you went 2 30-second rounds,
You
and you took
sorted it
those
out.
gloves off, and you shook hands, and it was done deal. There was no gang violence and shooting, and
No. Yeah.
people didn't go up and jump off the roof when Mary said no to the prom. They just asked Jane.
Yeah.
It was a much simpler. So I'm
Yeah.
not bashing these times or the kids today. I just
Yeah.
think that the world's become a place that's really too complicated for them, and it's I just don't think it's
Mm.
fair.
Yeah. What are maybe like from Willie like lessons learned in life? Like what's something that has stuck with you maybe more than anything else that he's taught you, told you? Maybe
Yeah,
it's a quote. I don't know.
always know who you're talking to before you open your mouth.
Okay.
um, when in doubt, do something.
I like it. Okay. What does
uh,
that what does that one mean? When in doubt, do something.
I mean, like, why are you sitting there? Don't you see what's going on? Like we're trying to make a play, or we're trying to,
Yeah,
did you miss the meeting? Like
I
what?
gotcha. So
um,
just kind of a never settling, don't just sit and dawdle kind of
yeah,
thing.
and then just by example, to be his son and see the things he did and hear the stories, and then the times to see how my dad was America's first black friend, which is, I mean, think about that. That's not an easy
It's
gig,
heavy. Yeah.
and it's not one you get a pat on the back for.
Right.
People, especially during the movement, a lot of people marching and in the
Yeah.
struggle. Even Jackie had a problem with that at a certain point.
Really.
Yeah, just like, why aren't you participating in the movement? Well, look around, because again, when people ask me about, what's the most significant thing your father did culturally, it's like, guys, you need to look. My father was America's first legitimate black friend. Before then, you couldn't have a black friend.
Mm.
Even if you had a black friend, you had to hide it. It
Right.
wasn't cool. Dad was like coming out for the entire, white America was finally
Sure.
allowed
Yeah.
to have a black friend. Those that wanted to, you'd see him on Donna Reed strolling in the Trader Vic's when they're having tea, like it was normal. He'd pop in on I Dream of
Yeah.
Jeannie and
Yeah.
just be like that was okay. He's Batman's walking up the wall and Dad stick
And
his
there
head
he
out the
is.
window. So, but you know what I'm saying?
I
Like,
do. I
he
do.
allowed America to embrace us in a way that they hadn't been allowed to before,
Yeah.
more or less wanted to. Like, I think people's appetites don't always reflect their condition.
Mm.
We all have been on both sides of these race conversations. We all have friends on both sides of the aisle,
Yeah.
but we got to understand that didn't happen before my dad.
Right. Yeah. Is that like that kind of transcending of baseball for him? For you being a little kid during that and then growing up, did that put undue pressure? Did anything
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that?
yeah. But I'm lucky again in that I had game, and I was what you'd expect. So, and he made sure I was plenty thick skinned, like
Yeah.
so. My clan is just thick skinned. We're not easy to hurt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I could imagine if yeah, did I have to be the best just to play on the team? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Did was I challenged by every single person that you know,
Yeah.
yeah, and you know, you're Willie Mays' boy. People have expectations, and again, it could break you, but if it doesn't, it's you know what they say, what doesn't
What doesn't kill you
kill
makes you
you makes you
stronger.
stronger.
Well,
Exactly.
it's kind of like a Hemingway thing. I'm going to butcher the quote right now without looking at it, but he said like a lot of people, get broken down, but if they build themselves back, they're stronger in those broken places.
Exactly.
That kind of thing.
And also, even though I only had one sister, being born into Major League Baseball is a lot of brothers. I have so many
Yeah.
brothers, and so we all played and didn't play and tried to play and still play, and so it's a group too. So it's not
Yeah.
like I was isolated as the
Sure.
only person in that situation, but privileged in that everyone knew who I was. So good or bad, you're messing with Willie's son, and
Mhm.
Willie's not to be messed with. So yeah, that swings both ways. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah. What did just this place? We're sitting in the kind of hallowed. I mean, the whole place is hallowed grounds, but we're sitting in a main office up here. We're right above the front sign. What did this place truly mean to him?
We were talking about Rickwood, and it's a short memory for him, but it's initial. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because you have to understand, by the time Dad was 16, he was already Pied Piper. He was already king of the kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was the organizer. He was the quarterback for both sides of the ball.
That's
He
right.
was all of that. So the whole athletic youth diaspora and within a 30-mile range, he was already the man.
Yeah.
So coming here was it was probably more memorable for my granddad, for Dad to play here, than it was for Dad,
Sure.
in that
Yeah.
Granddad could really appreciate
Yeah.
the badge of honor to play in Rickwood. My
Because
dad
he
kind
played
of,
in the industrial, right?
yeah, both Westfield and Fairfield.
In Fairfield. Okay.
And he had his cup of coffee with Barron's later too. So he's been around. Um, but so I think like for Dad, Rickwood was really a coffee cup stepping stone. You know what I mean? It was in between him getting seen and him playing up, because he played maybe half a season with the Barons, and had some great at bats, and they had some great success, and that was a big thing. But I think Eddie Montague was down here within a year and found him, because I think he came down to scout Alonzo Perry.
Okay.
I think is what it was. Yeah, it was Alonzo. He came down to scout Alonzo and saw Dad. And Dad must have been 16 and a half, 17. See what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
but the return to Rickwood, when he came back, when we came down in the 80s and came back in the 90s, then you could really see it on him. Like, he definitely had the same, like, I never played in this building, but it had that effect on me too. First time I walked this building, I felt like it was alive. And I could see that in him when we came down to do the dedications at the new park and everything, and we came to Rickwood. I could see him feeling it.
Man, that's special.
Yeah, this is a very, very, very special place, and now that's another thing I'm so excited and proud of. Rickwood finally is like the world knows this is a badge of honor.
Yes.
All the ball players know. You talk to any ball player, they to say you played in Rickwood, that's a thing.
That's a big deal,
right? So, people know that now. The younger guys know that when they came here, you could see it in their faces. They were like, "Oh wow, I got to play at Rickwood. That's cool. I want to keep." They told the equipment manager, "Take this one and put it someplace good."
Yeah, exactly.
I want people to know that I played at Rickwood. Yeah. So I'm hoping that energy continues.
Yeah, and I love it because like today, we're watching some of these young travel teams out here, and their kids playing baseball. They knew the Cardinals and Giants played here, and it's like a gateway. They're like, oh, the MLB's in town. I wonder why that is. And then maybe from their dad, their granddad, they learned the history of this place. and it becomes special to them that they played out here, and we can just keep that history alive and moving forward.
And I'd like to see Rickwood get its own team.
Hey,
I would love to. I mean, there's all kinds of ways to do it, especially now in this world where you have stuff like bananas and stuff.
The Savannah Bananas?
Yeah, where
those
you can
guys
have
are
fun.
wild. They're
hey, it's
so
a great
much
show.
Fun. It's
a great
blast.
show. And that's what, the other thing Dad always reminded me about, who the boss is, the fan. This game is supposed to be fun to play, even more fun to watch.
Yeah.
And that's what we got to get back to some kind of way. We got to, and I think Jesse's doing a great job of that. And I like to do my little minor league park tours every couple of years, and they still playing a more fun game. It's something about that family ticket and spending all day there like you used to. And it's not you're not there to show people you're there. You're not there to eat garlic fries. You're
garlic fries.
And brats.
Yeah.
It's a much simpler thing, and if you just let it be what it is, it will infect you. It's an infectious game and spirit, and you just gotta let baseball be what it is. We're mucking with it a lot nowadays.
I know.
We're giving baseball a business, right? We're tweaking it and timing it and doing all this stuff, and
I can't stand it. I mean, the pitch clock is one thing. Like I still don't know. Sometimes I feel like, okay, this is kind of cool, but then other times I'm like, just let them do their routine. Now the ghost runner deal or whatever it's called in extra innings, where we're just putting a guy on second base.
Straight out of NCAA's.
I hate that thing so much. Oh my gosh!
Let me tell you,
you didn't earn it. You didn't earn that spot.
There's a question you want to ask me. In the new rules, how'd your dad feel about all that stuff? Or which one of them, assuming how he feels about all that, which one of them annoys him the most?
Let me ask you a question. Which rule annoyed Willie the most? You put it out there.
And I have to agree with him. It's the take your base. Okay. Let me tell you something.
Like without throwing.
For a pitcher to throw 4 balls, not over the plate,
right,
with a guy standing there is the second hardest thing to do in baseball.
So he wanted that one out.
No, you can't say take your. What are you talking about? That's like a play. That's like it's one of the 10 important plays that you have to learn how to manage. You just eliminated like a whole.
I feel like
and these pitchers had to be like, yes.
I know. I feel like there's some memories of him on his soapbox going through your mind right now about that.
No, he was like, because the first time he said it, he said, "What's happening?
What do they do?"
Because he can't see too good.
Right.
I was like, Dad, they just take the base now. What you mean? I said, the manager just
says,
gives a little wave to the umpire, and the kid just goes to first. He was confused. He was
perplexed.
He was like, I don't understand what you mean. What are you trying to tell me? I'm trying to tell you, Dad, is the pitcher don't have to throw those 4 pitches.
That's crazy.
That's what he said. That's crazy.
Man.
And then the other
You hear that, Rob Manfred? You hear that?
We were at the park, and we're walking out somewhere. Dad had this habit of touching the plate. When he come out the dugout, did a little pat on first base, third, depending on where the dugout was coming out. That first base that you cross, the only way to center field. So now the older guy, when we walk out, he likes to kick him, He said, "What is this pizza box?"
Oh.
Because the thing's so big now.
I know. He was a comedian.
Yeah, he's got jokes, and that's it. And again, the guys too, thick-skinned around Willie, because when you come into the clubhouse, he's gonna get you.
Yeah.
But all in good fun,
Oh yeah.
All and that's the thing. You asked me the quote. that for Dad, for me, and how I
Mm.
live my life. Seriously,
Yeah.
he always told me, you play this game for the 25th guy. You know, the guy that needs the most help. That's why we're here, and that's always stuck with me.
That one transcends baseball for sure too.
Yeah, everything.
Everything. That's amazing.
Stand up for the little guy. It's what Marines do.
Yeah, that transcends. That's unbelievable. Wow.
So that's the big lesson. But with me.
Yeah. Well, let me get you out of here on this one. The legacy. For you, what do you want to do going forward? I know there's some things you probably want to do.
Thinking about my dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my mob, we call ourselves YRT. That's Youth Rescue Project. And what we do is we try to be a responsive organization. We work with lots of people that are doing lots of, like I said, great things. But we try to be a little bit more boots on the ground. Down here, trying to work with Papa Jack and some other folks, people that are in pulse of what neighborhoods, what communities, what leagues, what kids are struggling. And we resource them. We try to provide equipment, mentors, places to play, spaces to play in. But again, as an organization that responds, as well as it organizes and provides. Like I said, there's great work being done, but it's designed to be over time. It has to be funded. There's lots of things that are going on. We found in New York and in an urban situation that we could do a lot of our work as pop-up. All we got to do is show up with gear and kids, and it goes down.
Wow.
So we start with that work, and I meet people that, want to put up facilities. They want to redo their Boys and Girls Club. They want to get their RBI going. They want to build an urban youth academy, or they got a whole nother approach at it. Like everyone in this game, I'm like, okay, sounds great. Show me.
Yeah.
So that's what we try to get out there and get it done, so that when we do partner with people that want to be the facilities, we can show them the good that it does on somewhere other than a piece of paper. This isn't a statistic. Okay, I'm not coming to you, the bank, for money. I'm coming to you with a product that works. Look at the difference. This is a 1 day work, 2 week work. This is pop-up work. So you let these people facilitate in these areas. You're going to see a change socially, culturally,
absolutely,
athletically, and on an education level. So, that's what I'm trying to do is, especially at this age, is action the plans. I've been again blessed and fortunate to be around lots of people with great ideas. Mm-hmm. This is a time for action. I want to keep this energy alive. I don't want MLB to forget about Rickwood or the guys or the kids struggling, or these places that don't have the lights that big cities do. They don't have the resources that big cities do. So it's important. And I've always seen Alabama as a impetus, like where from my family, it's where it all started.
Yeah.
So why shouldn't it be a full circle?
Absolutely. That's awesome. Let's end it right there.
All right.
I appreciate you. Thank you for doing this.
No doubt.
Good to see you.
Oh,
nice to meet you.
Yeah.